asked my audience for some crazy ideas, and they didn't disappoint. Today I'll be choosing some of these comments and bringing these weird ideas to life. Oh, and with the help of today's sponsor, Printful, I'll be making them into products and shipping them to those that I choose. What's going on YouTube? My name is ADC Art Attack. His name is Rob. And welcome back to a brand new video. Okay, so when I put this question to you in my community post on YouTube, I thought it was a good idea. And then I read the comments. Surprise, it wasn't. Let's have ourselves a little read of some of those suggestions you came up with. A self-portrait fused with your favorite Pokemon. I don't have a favorite Pokemon. Except that. Link chopping Thanos' head off with the Master Sword. Seek help. I've been given too much power. And didn't use it. Charizard using his flaming tail to burn Anakin Skywalker's face from the end of Revenge of the Sith into tow. I don't even know. Now, considering most of those ideas were absolutely brilliant and I loved them a lot, I have selected a few of my favorites and the ones that I think I could perhaps do. And those that I've chosen are gonna have the designs made today into products and delivered directly to them with today's sponsor, Printful. And for those of you who have no idea what Printful is, they are a print-on-demand service that provides one of the best services an artist could hope for. Free to join, free to get selling, and free to have your products made and sent to your customers. I like free stuff. Boasting one of the largest catalogs of products that you can use to sell your merchandise on, Printful handles all of the manufacturing, so you don't require any stock of your own, and they also handle all of the shipping directly to your customers. The only role you play is creating the artwork and selecting the product that you want it available on. You've seen me discuss Printful in many of my videos in the past, and I actually use them myself to sell my own merch. Printful is a fantastic company that gives you complete control over everything that you create and what you sell to your customers. And throughout this video, I'm going to be showing you just how easy it is for you to get started selling your own merchandise using Printful. So make sure you click the links down below in the description to join Printful for free today. So after careful consideration and browsing through the many comments that you left on my community post, I chose this comment by Tiffany Gordon as the first artwork I would be creating. Stitch as a totem pole with tiki carvings. I don't really know too much about tiki. This could go horribly wrong. So yeah, I have no idea about totem poles. But with a little online research, I found that they are a type of indigenous Northwest Coast art, consisting of poles, posts, or pillars carved with figures or symbols. So drawing the rough of this, I kept the basic idea of a pole including Stitch as the top piece. I will, however, try my best to include as many assets from the Lilo and Stitch verse. However, one thing that is important to me is to capture the carved wood effect. Now that doesn't mean it needs to be perfect, and in fact, as this will be made into a design for merchandise, I want to try and keep a little balance between cartoon and realism. But it does also mean that Stitch won't really look like Stitch. And so with that said, I had to compromise on what it was that I added to this piece. I thought that instead of using Lilo herself, I would use her shirt in a subtle way and reserve the base for Scrump, Lilo's iconic little teddy. This would allow me to use the more typical tiki head designs that I've seen and work the design of Scrump naturally into this, which I think looks pretty cool. So with the rough design done, it is time to take this design into Photoshop and begin the process of turning it from rough sketch into professional merchandise. Improving upon the line work, adding some extra details, and of course, color. And with the pole done, it needs just a little bit more to make it a product someone can rock. So I added the element of surfing from the Lilo and Stitch show in a really cool way that brings everything together and leaves us with a fantastic design. So the next step is to take this design to Printful and have it made into a product. After a little browsing, I thought I would put this on a pillow. Adjusting the size, shape, and position of the design, we can also add an additional background using Printful's built-in features, even adding a double side. because why not? After that, check the product in this cool 3D mock-up and then click continue. From here, we choose our marketing materials from a huge variety, and then we set our prices. And that's that, one design ordered. I think that was brilliant. In fact, I'm actually jealous that this isn't just staying with me. It looks brilliant, and I kind of want it for myself. But the rules are the rules. Tiffany, this is for you. So our next comment is by Real Alan Animates, and it is Spyro and Charizard. That's a really simplistic. Okay, cheeky laugh aside, I did actually choose this one because Spyro is one of my favorite video game characters of all time, and Charizard is Charizard. Now, the fact these are both dragons makes this easier to merge them, but I also need to be careful not to just reskin one with the other. And one of the tricks that I've learned when doing my Style Swap series is that if somebody can look at this without a reference and say, it looks just like Spyro, yet I know it doesn't, having borrowed enough assets from the other character, then I've done a good job. A natural fusion, in my opinion, should be a split of opinions, with one group of people saying it looks like one character and the other saying the opposite. So while I was sketching the rough, I would frequently use my memory of the characters to draw them, trying my best to draw Charizard from memory for a time, and then switching to turning whatever I had just done into a drawing of Spyro from memory. Ultimately leaving me with a really cool design that is only going to be improved by adding some color. And of course, nothing over the top here with the line work, keeping it very simplistic and ensuring not to add too many details as I bring life to my rough sketch into a fully rendered line art fit for coloring, which was actually the hardest part. Despite having a very basic coloring, choosing which areas to color purple and which to color orange was actually quite a challenge. I couldn't convince myself one way or the other, and that just led to me doing whatever my first thought was and kind of just going with it. Adding little extra touches to elevate the design once again, we end up with a beautiful Chario? And then it's right back to Printful to turn this drawing into a product for our lucky sub. This time I've opted for a mouse pad. Seeing as the characters are video game characters, why not? And once again, Printful provides us with a very cool background to enhance this artwork. Run some final checks to make sure you're happy, and after the final details, hit publish. But I'm not making these public. They're not available. To you. Now for the final comment, I wanted to do something that was a little bit closer to home. Something that reminds me of the things I like most. And it's not him. You know, everyone's asking me where is Bob? That was 2 weeks ago. They stole my mascot. Yeah, Bob is gone. Wait! We have an update. I shouldn't have done that. I really shouldn't have done that. This has just arrived. I'm in the middle of the timing on that is... Okay, so there's something inside this box. I think. This whole thing could be a waste of time. Yes. How do I pull this off? Yes. He's finally back. It's been like 3 months. Rob, it's over, buddy. You did great. No, Rob should stay for the remainder. You had a holiday. This little guy has been a part of my life for the last 7 years now. Without Bob, there's no ADC. And with that said, let's get to that comment. Baby Bob, your mascot cosplaying as Godzilla stomping on tiny Tokyo by Ansgar Art. I don't know if I said that correctly. I probably didn't. That's a pretty creative idea. And I like it. You know, any opportunity to draw my mascot is welcome. I love that there are fans of my originals out there, and drawing Kid Bob is always fun, because I never really get to draw his younger self. As he explores by nature and likes to believe himself a superhero, dressing him up as Godzilla is kinda cool. However, this time I opted for a onesie. The only way I could think to implement a costume without just drawing Godzilla was to go with this approach. And I had to compromise on some levels of detail to match the art style of the characters as opposed to the Godzilla, well, Godzilla's a big dinosaur? But I found this to be very easy and very fun. But destroying Tokyo, I thought to myself, as this would be a product, to go very logo in design, keeping Tokyo as simplistic line art and implementing iconic landmarks. But coloring this is where it really shines once again. There's a theme here. Coloring just makes everything better. Bob himself is pretty easy for me to color. It kinda should be. It's my character. But I didn't use my official color palette, I just eyeballed the coloring. And I really enjoyed watching this come to life. Especially making Godzilla's spikes blue was just really kinda cool. However, the really amazing part was adding the Japanese flag by way of the sun and the mountain's snow. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty impressed by this one. I think this drawing is absolutely amazing, but I kept this one simple and threw it on a bag. I find the design to be subtle, so I wanted to keep it on a sort of simplistic product. I also chose not to add any extra additions, and this came out pretty great. Now, all of the products will be coming to me first. I will show them off and review them in a future video, and then they will be shipped off to their new owners. And if you were wondering, the designs that I've made today are not available for sale. They are one-of-a-kind artworks, and I just wanted a good excuse to give back to members of my community. Well, there you have it, everyone. This was an amazing video idea. I had a great time, and if you would like to feature in part 2, yep, there's gonna be another. And you wanna be the next person in line to have their own original idea created by myself, put onto a product thanks to Printful, and shipped directly to you, then all you've got to do is leave those crazy ideas down below in the comments section, and maybe you might be the next one chosen. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and leave those comments right now because I am just about to get started on the next one. I'll see you again soon.